Welcome to the Truth Be Told podcast. I have two special guests with me today. I have my buddy, Rob Lee Davis, and I also have the one and only Ivana K. Williams, all the way from Mississippi.
Welcome to Oklahoma.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
We also have Dude Wipes. Grab one and wipe, dude, because shit's about to get deep.
I like it.
Yeah,
Man.
me too.
Oh, do you have anybody you would like to shout out?
I would. I'd like to shout out Howard Harris Funeral Services. If you guys are in Oklahoma City, Lawton area, and you're needing your loved one cared for in a special manner, contact them, and they're awesome people. Jolanda Harris and Miss Audrey Howard Harris.
Amazing people.
If you can ever use their services, contact them. You won't be disappointed. They'll take great care of you. Tell them Robert Davis sent you.
Okay, well, I guess I have to give a shout out to my lawn care company. So if you guys are in Mississippi, in the Jackson metro area, then call me, message me, because I do yard work. It's called Madam's Mowing, and you can look it up on Facebook. But me and my sons, we actually are the ones doing the yard work. So please message us.
Madam's Mowing.
Yeah. What are you drinking?
It's pretty catchy.
There?
Oh, yeah. So I'm so glad you mentioned it. It's Celsius. It's actually a Pepsi product, if I'm saying that correctly. But my uncle used to work for Pepsi. And so this is an energy drink.
I heard a lot of good things about Celsius.
Is that like sparkling water?
No, I need to get
That's
into
not
that.
the kind of stuff that tastes like TV static.
It is energy drink. It doesn't have a bad, no bad aftertaste.
Yeah.
But I really do need to get into like just those
No
waters.
sugar?
I don't think so.
If you wanna get
5 milligrams.
Oh, that's not
sodium.
bad at all.
Yeah.
That
If
ain't
you
bad.
want to get into sparkling water, just go get some Clear Canadians. You won't be disappointed.
I've tried that. I can't do it. I can't.
I'm not going to do the sparkling water.
All right.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about what some of our audience talks about or ask. So please ask a question. I'm doing a TikTok live, and we're not going to do it the whole episode, but just for a little bit. And I already have somebody from a previous Facebook post. So if you are watching Jamie Patridge, he actually posted, or he left a comment on my post talking about like, hey, I said I was going to do a podcast. What would a topic be good? Like what topic would be good? And so he suggested qualified immunity.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good one.
So that's a question from Jamie. What is your stance coming in from law enforcement perspective? What is your opinion on qualified immunity? So Rob, you go ahead.
That's a good question. But what's crazy is, as a law enforcement officer, I guess I never thought about it. And I guess if you're living your life right, if you are doing the right things as a law enforcement officer, that's probably not a topic or something that you would think about. I mean, unless you just blatantly want to go out and do the wrong thing and violate people's rights and do all that stuff, I mean, that's probably the only way that you really think about it. But it's a good thing, but then it's a bad thing because law enforcement officers take advantage of it.
Right.
So
for the audience, in case somebody is out there that does not know what qualified immunity is, how do you, like in your own terms, how do you explain qualified immunity to somebody that doesn't know?
It's protection for law enforcement to keep you from getting sued as long as you are not breaking the law or violating a person's rights or things like that. But when you go to breaking the law or violating people's rights, that qualified immunity goes out the door, out the window. Especially when you got those First Amendment auditors, they fish for that stuff. And it's up to us officers to know those things. We should know that we shouldn't violate people's rights and things like that. Those Fourth Amendment's very important.
Right.
First Amendment, very, very important. Those are probably the most two important that we're going to deal with. First Amendment and Fourth, search and seizure and, filming in public and stuff like that.
Right. Your right, free speech.
Yes, free speech.
Yes, exactly what we're doing
100%.
here. So same thing, qualified immunity, if you don't know, I say the same thing. It's basically, if I were to arrest you, you can't immediately go and file charges on me for simple assault, for instance. And so I think it was designed for a good reason, just like I think most laws were designed for a good reason, per se. But I think it has been carried away, and that it's so difficult for a citizen who was wrongfully arrested or actually did have excessive force on them, I think that it's hard for law enforcement officers to actually be held accountable nowadays because of that qualified immunity. And so I think just like all laws, I mean, you had the Constitution has been amended, 26 times, if I'm not mistaken. So I think maybe it needs to be amended. Maybe it needs to be looked at once again and make it where citizens have ability to actually get justice when they are wrongfully, arrested or accused of something. Or, and so he actually had another question, which I didn't write down. So if I'm not saying it verbatim, excuse me. But Jamie did also talk about like, what would it be? What do we think about of instead of a court of law? What about having like a board of citizens and a board of like law enforcement judges, different people from the community, basically a board of your peers to be able to justify somebody being charged with simple assault, like a law enforcement officer, instead of going through that whole qualified immunity process or, acting a color of law. Would that be something, or should we just keep it to court and change?
That's when you start bringing citizens into law enforcement. It's going to be tough because the outlook that we already have on us, and then we're bringing citizens in to basically say, yeah, you were wrong.
Yeah, they're all going to say we're wrong.
Yeah,
right?
They're all going to say we were wrong. I mean, and I could be the nicest guy in the world, but they're going to see that cute little face on that person, and they're going to say, oh,
they're not going to understand. Yeah,
they're not going to understand.
No,
just like
people that ain't in law enforcement aren't going to understand this stuff.
Just like somebody can go out and commit a murder, but 2 days later, after they kill somebody, they're going to come out and say, he would have gave you the shirt off his back. He's the nicest person ever, And I
definitely agree with you guys on that. I think so. The consensus is that we should probably look at that law and maybe amend it. But then when it comes to having some type of board of citizens and law enforcement, let's keep it to the courts.
Sure. Yeah, I think because
I agree.
We work under a court of law and not a court of morals.
Yeah.
And they kind of clash with each other. Because it's not against the law to be immoral.
Yeah,
it's not.
True. So I will let you talk about why you are here just a little bit, because I know that we're going to discuss that later on. But that way, while you're talking, I can read some of the comments and see if I have a question.
Yeah, I was actually let go from my very first department that I got. I started in July. I got let go on December the 11th. I think it was on a Thursday. Kind of a bogus deal in my opinion. Not the getting let go part. I mean, that's fine and dandy if you do it the right way. But my ex-chief, Trevor Fitch, he fabricated this long drawn out reason why I got let go, and come to find out it wasn't true, because nobody else knew about it. And like one of his officers on a recorded phone call, he didn't know he was on a recorded phone call. He gonna find out today though. Said kind of along those lines that it was made up and just something he made up on his own and was like, I'm gonna get rid of him, So
you got the recording?
Oh, well, yeah, that recording I think was like 30 minutes, but
it's one good part to that.
Did you hear? Did you heard the black boys part?
It's just one good part that need to be heard.
We'll play that,
because this is part of the problem.
Let me ask y'all, what is a regime? What do you? Is that like a form of government, or is it like a cult or something? Because that's kind of what we was referred to as a cult. I'll just go ahead and play this. But
I mean, this is part of the problem that people think that they can say things and it won't get out. But this is what we deal with: is that we deal with racism. And they say little things, but they're like, "Oh, that ain't racist."
Oh, they ain't gonna say the N word, but they
say things. Was he white?
Yeah, they was all white. Crazy enough that you say that. Me, Rob, Paul, and who was that? Jacob?
No, Alicia.
4 officers in Elmore.
4 black officers fired.
Been fired within a year's time.
Yeah.
By the same chief?
No, just
me
3
and
of
him.
us.
3 of us by the same.
3 of us were fired by the same chief
in less than 6 months.
Yeah. And then the other one was just.
Yeah, he was terminated before our administration.
So,
But
guys,
I'll play
we're going to
this.
talk about it
You want
in
me to
a
play it?
couple episodes down the road, but they will talk about like why they were fired. And I talk about a little bit why I was fired. But with it being our first episode, we're kind of doing a little free for all type situation.
Q&A.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do the recording. This is a one of your friends who
I mean, I mean, one of my
They're
friends made the
buddies.
phone call.
Made the
yeah.
phone call.
Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't, and then I'm gonna tell y'all, as a police officer, if you ain't talked to somebody in a long time, don't pick the phone up. Don't pick the phone up because he's gonna get you caught up.
All right, you're gonna
and
put
you're
it on
about to see
speaker
why.
so we
Yeah,
can
it's
all
on
hear.
speaker.
Okay.
Hang on.
And let all that, the chief, he just resigned yesterday. He got into it with some of the guys that worked here, and all of them were black boys, and that, I don't know if they're trying to do a racial thing against him, and I don't even know if that's what it was really about. But and then he beat up his brother-in-law, but if they lived right beside one another, and.
So why does he have to label us by color? How come he just couldn't be like, yeah, it was just a group of guys that worked here. He got into it with them, and it just spiraled out of control.
All of that was lies, right?
I mean,
Did
he
you-
didn't have to call us black boys.
But did you get in a fight with somebody?
No, the chief beat up his brother-in-law.
The
Yeah.
chief at the time
Tied him up in
who
handcuffs and beat
terminated
him
us,
up.
like,
And
beat
then
him
put
with
a
mag
VPO on
light
the
or
dude
something,
after he beat him up.
Wasn't it like with a mag light or something?
Beat him with a mag light. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's terrible, bro. Trevor's.
Steven, he was working over there.
Listen to this.
Stephen, oh, yes, hell, that's one of the boys that got it. He just got laid off the other day. He was part of that regime that came in, with Robert Davis or something. Is what I heard. But
So, in case you guys don't realize that this is a podcast with 3 fired law enforcement officers, and again, we'll go through that in the next couple episodes, but for right now, we're trying to answer questions. So if you have any questions and we won't be doing a live the whole entire time, but so Ivana, we need to collab on podcast eventually. We have Whiteside said that. And then some other people agreed with what we were talking about with the qualified immunity and how
Right.
it would not work. Clay Moore, he said it would not work. You can't trust citizens to
Most
make that
definitely.
decision. So.
I
No, because they're biased. They already got it.
Yeah.
And somebody did discuss, they said, what is like our policies and procedures, they haven't been updated since the 60s. He said, updating regulations and operational standards is a must. Most departments still use SOPs from the 60s. And I don't know about you guys, your department, but the Mississippi Highway Patrol, I agree with that 100%. They did update a lot right before I left, but there's a lot more that needs to be updated and changed. And, that's something that I think law enforcement agencies across the country are dealing with, and they just don't ever look at it because once it's done, okay, well, that's how we've done it.
Right.
That's how we're always going to do it,
Yeah.
So I think ultimately that's the issue. It's not necessarily like they aren't wanting to update it.
Right.
I think it's just it's already been done. We're not going to change it.
Initial or sign off on any policies?
So when I was hired, I
didn't.
never signed off or agreed to any policies or anything.
Me
But there is, so we use Lexipol.
And what is that?
Lexipol is a company that basically comes up with policy and procedure, and you have to assign them to each officer. Okay. So whenever you hire an officer, you give them access to Lexipol and call your rep, and they send them an email. And so whenever a new policy or procedure is added, then they have to go in, read it, and acknowledge it, stating that they, read that policy. So the actual department itself is not coming up with these policy and procedures. They have a company, at least Elmore City does, but a lot of local departments use Lexipol, and that's what they go by, which is a pretty good company. So,
Okay.
they have pursuit policies and everything in there.
So, okay, well, I'm glad you mentioned pursuit. So I'm just going to jump into that a little bit. So what is your policy, or what was the policy where you were working at? What is the pursuit policy?
So you have to be LEDT certified.
And what is that?
Law enforcement defensive tactics. So driving tactics, however you want to put it in regular person tone. You have to know how to drive defensively. You have to be trained to.
Okay. And the reason I keep on asking, guys, with all these acronyms and all of that is because not everybody knows what you're talking about. And especially, we're talking to people that might possibly be from, I have followers from North Carolina all the way to Alaska, So they're not familiar with the same policies that you guys have or acronyms versus, what they might have. So that's why I'm asking.
Right.
I'm not, naive or by any means or anything like that.
Know,
but
and to fix it, because I said it wrong, it's LEDT is for law enforcement defensive tactic. That's for fighting, but it's driving training, which LEDT actually stand for.
Okay, so forget the policies or forget the acronyms and all of that. What is your viewpoint on chasing somebody?
We'll chase.
So
Till the wheels fall off?
I mean, if it's not through a school zone, an active school, if kids aren't walking across the street, yeah, I'm chasing. But if they're walking across the street, I'm going to have to back off.
It all depends. I mean, in my opinion, if it's a minor traffic stop that you're running for me for example, if you have a expired tag and I attempt to make a traffic stop on you, I mean, if you run, I'll probably pursue you. But once it gets up to, 80 miles an hour, I'm probably going to terminate.
Somebody says, to the end of the earth.
Yeah,
but they running for
really
something. I don't think
they
they running from that tag, bro. I think they running for something
they're
bigger
running
than the
for
tag.
a reason, but you also have to think about driving conditions, your vehicle at your department. Will it keep up with the pursuit? It may break down. I mean,
so for expired tag, you're still going to chase them?
To an extent.
If they're running.
Now, I mean, once you get out of Elmore City, I mean, I'm probably going to terminate the pursuit, but I'm not. Expired tag is not worth me driving over to 3 different cities, 3 different towns for expired tag.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it comes back confirmed stolen vehicle and all that stuff, then I'm probably going to chase you.
Okay, let me ask you this: you say that you're not going to chase them outside of city limits, but you don't know why you're chasing them. You're chasing them because they're running, but you don't know why they're running. What if, does it ever cross your mind that
that's what somebody's asking? Claymore is asking.
They could have a child abducted in that trunk, or sex trafficking somebody, or I'm going to go all out. I'm going to get you because you're running for something. And if I do get you and you do have that child abducted, I'm going to be like, dang, I'm glad I didn't terminate, because you could be saving somebody's life.
You're 100% correct. I mean, it all depends on the situation. I mean,
and I know you don't know the situation, but there's a retired trooper that's in talking, and so Claymore says he agrees. And
on what he agrees on what?
That what Steve is saying.
Okay.
And he was saying basically that you don't know why they're running, so you should chase them till like somebody else said, the end of the earth, right?
Or let another agency take over at least if you're going to terminate.
See, so I'm a little bit different when it comes to that. I agree with both of you guys, but at the same time, in my professional history or professional experience, I've noticed that majority of the time when somebody runs, because I've had a few people, and I always have chased them, and I've always said I'm not going to chase them because, but as soon as they,
adrenaline is a whole different monster, man. You're like, oh,
as soon as they take off, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go.
It's like a movie.
Yeah, and so I say that I won't chase them, but I have yet to not chase them.
I'm chasing,
but I have to agree.
Majority of the time, you know what it is? They don't have a driver's license.
Yeah.
Could be.
They don't have insurance. They have a little weed in the car.
But you don't know. I'm thinking about the children.
No, I know.
Just like that little boy that was gone missing.
Right.
They found in Chickasha yesterday. He's been gone for like 12, 13 days. They found him in a hotel. His parents was like trying to sell him.
It was from a chase?
No.
Oh, just
his parents was just trying to sell him.
It was from a case.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I mean, speeding tickets. A lot of people are like, well, does speed really affect somebody's ability to drive, right? Mm-hmm. And again, I think a little bit in the middle range with that, because speed itself does not cause an accident, but it does make the severity of the accident more worse. And it also lessens your your reaction time to possibly avoid an accident. But speeding, that was like my number one thing, because I was a state trooper, is speeding tickets, right?
That's me.
And one time another trooper stopped somebody, and he was there for a while. So I went and, we were in the area, we're doing like a line patrol, and that means we're supposed to be on a certain highway at a certain time. And we were there, and I ended up going over there backing him up because normally troopers are nowhere near each other.
Right.
But he ended up, it was a guy and a girl. The guy had a warrant. Eventually we found out he had a warrant, but he wasn't telling us who he was, you know. And then the woman, of course, wouldn't tell us. Well, she ended up being a prostitute from like the coast. And they had a child in the back.
Oh, man.
And the child, there was melatonin. Like they were dosing her up with gummies and stuff like that.
Quiet.
And we ultimately found out that she was taken from her mother from like Minnesota.
Wow.
And the little girl talked a little bit how she was, she didn't say anything about like pimped out or anything, but she said that they had stopped on numerous hotels along the way. And so ultimately she was given to Child Protective Services, and that all came from a speeding ticket.
See?
So like that's where I'm like in the middle range, because sometimes, yes, you stop somebody for a speeding ticket, but ultimately they convicted felon that has escaped and, you know, murdered 10 people. And I'm not exaggerating because I have another retired trooper that told me about a case that he stopped somebody. He actually was killing people, hitchhikers. He would pick up hitchhikers and kill them, and he ended up finding the tag because it was a BOLO, which is be on the lookout for. And but anyway, so yes, I agree with you. You know, follow them, try to find out why they're running. But at the same time, I also agree with you. And I know we all kind of have a little mid-range there, but you also can't just keep on running and causing a possible fatality.
Right. Like I said, school zone or something.
Right.
You know, kids
so
are out,
ultimately,
like, nah.
you got to make that decision on when you can and when you do call out for pursuit. So, all right, let me see if there is any more.
I wrote a lot of
Clay says fine line
tickets.
for sure.
Hey, a lot of my speeding tickets, I ended up finding. I had one of my biggest drug busts from a speeding ticket.
But I didn't write no 10 overs or nothing. I always got reckless. That's just, I always caught them. Like the very last reckless I got was 73 and a 35.
That's good.
I didn't think she got stopped before she got to the four-way at the bank. I didn't think I heard them brakes screeching. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, what the hell are you doing?
Richard, he says, Mississippi Department of Corrections released the guy that killed the officer in South Mississippi. He had a warrant from another agency. So there was an officer that was killed on a checkpoint, I believe, either a checkpoint or a traffic stop. And the guy was on the passenger's seat, if I'm, saying this correctly. And so the officer was, questioning him and all that. And so the guy thought the officer knew that he had a warrant, and he didn't, because you remember us talking about that communication between agencies and stuff like that? Right. Well, that was the issue, is that MDOC did not tell this other agency, that, hey, he has a warrant and all that. So ultimately that guy killed the officer, all because the lack of communication, between agencies. And so that's something that law enforcement really does need to look at is trying to communicate with different agencies, state, federal, or local municipalities, so that way we can keep up with the quote unquote bad guys.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah.
All right. So again, I'm trying to do 3 different things at one time. So I'm trying to see what people are asking. And somebody says, do troopers have jurisdiction on county roads? So you guys are from Oklahoma and I am in Mississippi. So I'll go ahead and ask you guys, it's state troopers, right? In
That means
Oklahoma?
the whole state, every road, every town, every city.
Oklahoma state troopers have jurisdiction anywhere on county roads.
Yep.
Okay. So same thing with the Mississippi Highway Patrol. However, and I'm assuming it might be the same for you guys, I don't know, there's gray areas that nobody knows about and no trooper is going to tell you about. So in Mississippi, a trooper has only jurisdiction on that county road if they're going from point A to point B. Same thing with a city street. So they have to basically go in, like, say they're coming from their house and they're going to the highway to go start writing tickets, doing their run, as we call it in Mississippi. Well, they could pull somebody over for speeding or a traffic violation or whatever from point A to point B. Same thing with county roads. But they cannot sit there and run stationary radar. They have to be traveling. So there's gray areas. Wow. Can they get a speeding tickets? Absolutely. Can they get a ticket for, I saw this person go by me and they didn't have a seatbelt on? Yes. But they cannot just sit there and run stationary radar.
In Mississippi?
Yeah. They have to go from point A to point B.
Oh, you're going to see Oklahoma stationary and rolling.
So there's a lot of gray areas. They did pass a law back in, I think it was 2 years ago, and maybe somebody might know a little bit about that. So they passed a law where if the city was a certain size, then the highway patrol can run stationary radar. So like in Jackson, Mississippi, it was in the city limits. If you weren't on a highway, interstate, something like that, and just on a city street, you could not run stationary radar. But now they passed a law where you can. So a state trooper can sit on High Street in Jackson, Mississippi, and run stationary radar.
Right.
But that's only there, so it can't be for like a county road. And
I ran stationary a
right.
lot.
So there's gray areas,
Like
and nobody knows
95%
about.
of the time I ran stationary.
So somebody says
Now, Light Horse
Florida
also
troopers.
has jurisdiction over the whole state as well. Indian police that we have here, since we're Indian land, Light Horse, they have jurisdiction. They can do it pretty much whatever they want.
The Indian,
Police, yeah, they got jurisdiction over the whole state.
really? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't
They can
have to
come
be in
your
their
house.
on their
There's no
land.
jurisdiction. Oklahoma is all Indian land. So
Really?
they can go anywhere.
So they actually have more
They got a little more stroke.
than a state trooper.
I mean, if a crime is committed like Indian on Indian,
Yeah.
like me and Rob could detain that person, but we have to call Light Horse to come and take them to jail.
Unless you're cross commission.
Unless you're cross commission,
Now, what is the
cross deputized or whatever
Okay.
you want to call it. I can go into a casino and arrest somebody that's got a warrant.
okay?
if I'm
So
cross-commissioned.
now, what are they? I don't want to say the wrong terminology. The Indian, what are they called?
Light Horse.
Light Horse.
Yeah.
Okay, so can they, if you guys are in a parking lot fighting and it's just out here in Oklahoma City, can they come and
Yes.
do something? If they see you, can they come and
Yeah.
arrest you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they
Really?
got stroke.
So in Mississippi, we have certain lands that are designated for the Choctaw Indian in this Indian reservation. They have jurisdiction on their reservation, but they don't outside.
Okay.
So something different. Did not
So,
know that.
I mean, it's kind of the same here, but so for example, in Elmore City and Garvin County, period, there's a lot of Choctaw and all that
Chickasaw,
stuff,
Choctaw and
Chickasaw.
Chickasaw.
So, for example, I mean, I'm dealing with a guy who's suing me for $500,000 right now.
Damn.
Because I went and detained him and called Light Horse and
Oh, that's the dude that was
You
talking
know,
on the internet the other day.
yeah.
So he was saying unlawful.
Yeah, unlawful
Arrest.
arrest and, I didn't have a right and all that stuff. And, I think he's Choctaw or something. So I had to call Light Horse to come and arrest him because I wasn't cross commissioned. So I called Light Horse to come and handle it because, for one, he's native and he lives on native land and I'm
But he
not
was-
cross commissioned.
Right.
So,
But he wasn't on native land when you.
no, he was.
Oh.
He was on his property, which is,
We
I
can
think-
we can detain him.
yeah, we could detain him, but we have to call Light Horse to come
Transport.
and do the arrest and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So why did you detain him in the first place?
Because he was violation of VPO,
What is
Victim Protective Order.
Victim
Protective Order.
Okay, so he was by somebody.
Beating his wife or something?
Yeah.
Or
Well, I
something,
mean,
don't
it's something about his ex-wife or something. So his ex-wife or current wife, whoever she was at the time, put a VPO on him, Victim Protective Order, to where he couldn't be on her property and all that stuff. So, and he violated it.
Okay.
So
So do you think he's gonna have something to say in court? Do you think he might win or what?
no,
No, he ain't gonna win.
no.
So all right, again, I'm trying to look at the questions I had from earlier, and then also talk to people on TikTok. That's why we're not going to do this the whole time, but. So Indianola can not run radar on Highway 82 or by law even have them powered
Indianola.
up.
That's where BB King is from.
Yeah, there's a.
Yeah, buddy. Favorite blues player ever.
Let me see. And then Whiteside, I believe it's for any city or municipality that has radar already where MHP cannot be. So same thing with what I was saying. So he's talking about certain municipalities don't have radar. And talking about radar, sheriff's departments in Mississippi, there's only one sheriff department in Mississippi that has radar. So do you guys have radar in Oklahoma?
Yeah,
Or
but they
sheriffs?
don't typically write a lot of speeding tickets because they're elected officials and they want to get reelected.
But
so
they have radars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, our sheriff's office out here, because I'm from Oklahoma County. So, I mean, our sheriff's office out here, I mean, they run a lot of traffic. So they have radars.
So it's kind of goes back to, okay, now we're starting to realize there's some gray areas in law enforcement, right? You know, you can't cross communicate because you have so many different acronyms and different programs for your policies, procedures, for your report writing, stuff like that. And then now, you know, we're talking about different laws and who can and can't do what in different states. So, you know, a lot of people are pro-police no matter what, right? And what do you guys think about that? Do you think it's right? Are you happy they're there? Or do you think now that you've seen how law enforcement corruption can go and has happened with you guys, do you think it's right for citizens just to be like pro-police no matter what?
I mean, for the most part, I mean, yeah, because like there's more good cops than there's bad cops, you know? So that, I mean, I'm pro-police. Yeah. I was pro-police before I became a police officer.
Yeah, you have. You've always, I've seen your prior podcasts.
Yeah,
but you see how it can be now.
Yeah.
So
I was warned before I got into law enforcement by a real good buddy of mine. He's like, man, don't do it. You got that itch and you're going to scratch it and you're going to be sorry.
Yeah.
And I called him the day I got fired and he laughed. He's like, I told you. I'm not going to say I told you so. I'm not being a dick, but I just told you.
I
was
him
like,
he was getting fired too.
He did. He was like, bro, your time is limited.
Well, I mean, it's a sad truth.
And what was crazy, you know what really pissed me off about him? Not that he fired me in the middle of CLEAT, so I was going to have to start CLEAT all over.
What is CLEAT?
A CLEAT is the Council of Law Enforcement Education Training in Oklahoma. You got to be CLEAT certified to be a police officer on the streets. So I'm going through CLEAT. I'm still going through CLEAT. He fired me in the middle of it, took my commission card, and he put the letter of termination in. That goes through CLEAT, and that also goes to my academy that I'm in. So I go to class that night, and they're like, bro, we can't have you because you've been fired. So our area representative called me, and she was like, yeah, you're going to have to start all over. My job has manipulated my schedule so I can attend CLEAT, and I'm thinking in my head, they're not finna do this again.
So are you still in it?
Yeah. Okay. She was able to pull some strings and was like, hey, you can pick up this.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, go talk to so-and-so. So I go talk to him or whatever. And she was like, man, you're going to have to start all over. And I was like, oh, I want to kill this dude. But she was like, she called me like 2 or 3 days later. It's like, hey, I pulled some strings. You can pick up at this department or this CLEAT because they haven't gone through DT yet, which is defensive tactics. You've already done that. You've already qualified on the firing range. You can just pick up at them. And I was like, yeah, he tried to derail what I had going on. So that's why I'm on his head. So
somebody mentions that blind support to anything is often dangerous.
You say what?
Blind support to anything is often dangerous.
It can be if you don't know what you're supporting.
Okay. So with that statement, I'm going to bring up the elephant in the room of what just happened. Minnesota, the ICE agent, that incident. And I know it's all over social media. And here we are talking from law enforcement perspectives from all different ranges. One who just started in a reserve, another one who has been a chief or assistant chief. And then I have been a state trooper and a police officer. So I've been in and out of law enforcement since I was 21. So 16 years, I think. I've never been in an administrative role, though. So I can't determine policy, procedure, anything like that. But what is your viewpoint on ICE agents shooting the woman?
Short and sweet. As a law enforcement officer, if there's a volatile situation, I'm not standing in front of or behind a vehicle with an angry person behind the wheel. Stupid. So there's bad on both sides. But as the driver of the vehicle, if you're told to exit your vehicle by law enforcement, whether you like them or not, get your ass out or it's going to turn bad. She found out.
Okay. All right. What about you?
So I can't comment on the video because there's so many videos out there. I don't even know which one is the real video. But like I stated the other day, they don't make good bumpers named Rob. You know, so
at all.
Yeah. So I'm not going to stand in front of a vehicle.
No.
You know, to try to stop that person from leaving, because when you're in rage and anger and you don't want to go to jail or whatever the case may be at that time, 9 times out of 10, you're going to try to drive away. And I think any law enforcement officer know that. So to try to stand in front of the vehicle, I think was a bad choice. But I can't comment on that vehicle to say he was on the edge or she. I mean, I can't say. Yeah. But what I will say is a vehicle is a deadly weapon.
100%.
And so if anyone tries to use a deadly weapon against a law enforcement officer, in the words of Grady Judge, you're going to be dead.
Yeah, the only reason we stopped shooting is because we ran out of ammo.
I mean, it is what it is. But the Minnesota shooting, I hate that it turned out that way. But I mean, it could have turned out different. But I can't comment on it because I wasn't there for one.
Can I ask you this though? The word on the street is that he had previously almost been ran over.
Yeah, that's
with him knowing that. Do you really think he would stand in front of a vehicle, or do you think he did that to set her up? Because it could be a setup. Like, I know if I stand in front of this lady gonna take off, and I'm gonna get my get back.
Man, that it's tough because again, I'm going back into thinking of positive in law enforcement because I mean I'm just always positive, but I don't think everybody wakes up and say, I'm going to stand in front of a vehicle, set somebody up today, and possibly shoot and kill somebody in case they run me over.
I'm not saying he premeditated
and then use my excuse from I'm going through something because it happened before, a week or so ago.
So supposedly somebody said that he was dragged down the road in a previous incident.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was saying. He got hit.
In his head, he should have been like, I ain't sitting in front of a vehicle again.
Yeah.
But
you talking about ICE. ICE ain't all the way trained up like we are, bro. They got a bunch of people that wanted a $50,000 sign-on bonus, strapped on a vest, and went to work.
Well, I mean, I can't say that because for one, most of those guys are probably regular law enforcement officers like we were and just went and applied to become ICE agents and meet the qualifications and went to the ICE training.
So and I haven't looked it up, so I can't, say anything about their qualifications. But just like you said, it was a $50,000 sign-on bonus.
Yeah, because I applied for it.
A lot of people went off the streets and did that, bro. And you can tell by how they police that dude ain't trained.
Well, so he's a prior veteran, is what everybody's saying also. And so, all right, in my opinion, there was more negative on her side. Because one, she shouldn't have been there. She shouldn't have been in the middle of the road. She should have listened to what they had to say. It's just all around negligence on her side.
Don't
right?
involve yourself in law enforcement activity if you don't have no business being there.
He should not have been in the front. I don't know. I don't understand why he even had his cell phone out and like walking around the vehicle recording in the first place. I've never, in my history of being a Mississippi Highway Patrolman, they have never said in the academy, hey, when you're in this situation, get your phone out, your personal cell phone, and walk around.
That's what your body cam is for.
Yes. And I mean, even walking around the entire vehicle, I don't understand what that was all about. But in this particular situation, did he do wrong by being in the front of the vehicle?
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
100%.
But her negligence outweighs his, and therefore I would say that he's in the right versus her, right?
Oh, he gonna walk.
But I did something on social media, and a lot of people like unfollowed me on social media. And I was trying, it was this experiment. So I had posted on there a picture that I got off somebody else's page, and it was like, rest in peace, Nicole Good. She was murdered by ICE agent, right? But the caption on the top, it said, what do you think about this? Give me your perspective. Well, I immediately had people like, oh, that's how you feel?
People don't read.
They don't read. They just looked at the picture and immediately thought I was on her side and didn't take the time to read nor understand what I might be trying to do.
And they're not going to come back and
No, they're not. No, they
either.
just, I mean.
Ego.
Exactly.
That's what got her killed. Ego.
That's the problem with social media, and something whenever I was let go from the highway patrol, people saw what they on the news and everything, what had happened with me, and they believed it. Yeah. They didn't take the time to like, oh, you know what? That doesn't sound like her. And I know it's been a 2-year process since I've been fired, but now that I feel like it's on the flip side, people have seen who I really am. They have seen that it was all, or for most people, see that it was, BS of what happened. And some people, they're like, you know what? I don't care what you did. I'm like, well, I didn't do that, but thanks for supporting me. But they're like, I don't care what you did. I think you're a good person, and I think you should.
Some of the comments.
Yeah. I mean, again, it goes back to it was very nice of you, but I really didn't do that. But, hey, thanks for your support.
And it's the same thing with me. I mean, I've heard that I was terminated because I was under cleat investigation.
Really?
And when I heard it, I was like, I have never been under cleat investigation. And if I was, I don't know about it.
You was also supposed to get giglio.
And so, I mean, I was supposed to get placed on.
Trevor told me not to tell you that, but I told you anyway.
I was supposed to be placed on the, what do they call it? The
Brady's list.
The Brady's list. And I'm like,
Brady list.
I've never even had to testify in court before.
A lot of people have always asked, what was I accused of? And so 2 years ago, I was fired by the Mississippi Highway Patrol, and I was all over the news. And I won't go into full detail because I have come to realize throughout this situation that it doesn't matter how much evidence you present to the general public.
Right.
Half of them will never believe you, and the other half, it's none of their business. Just like the whole thing with Minnesota and the ICE, even after the video was released, people still will. Why is he holding? And I saw it this morning. Why is he holding a camera and shooting? He wasn't. He put the camera in his chest pocket.
His body cam was broke.
Oh, it was.
Could be. I don't know. Maybe.
But he wasn't holding the. I thought so too at the beginning. But they were like, how did he hold a phone and still draw? And he wasn't. But anyway. Doesn't matter how much evidence you present to the public. Half of them will never believe you, and the other half, it's none of their business. But
because I still don't know why you were fired. So
a woman accused me of sexually assaulting her. Yep. She accused me of drugging her, and she accused me of exploiting her, sending out a video.
She's mad about it
to everybody. We're keeping this PG. Remember, to like the whole department, everything.
Wow.
And so it was a huge embarrassment, and she went to the Attorney General's office, and she went through the whole thing, and then nothing happened. I went in. I didn't ask for, I didn't bring an attorney or anything like that because I was like, I don't have anything to hide.
Right.
I gave them my personal cell phone. I was like, here, I have all the evidence of me and her hanging out. I don't know what she's talking about. Never have been charged with anything. Well, it wasn't good enough for her, right? So then she goes to the news. And this gossip blog in Jackson reports about it. Female trooper sexually assaults woman, right? And got all over everywhere, basically. And so I got called into internal affairs. And I'm not going, moment by moment. So excuse me for not having it exact. Sure. But I go into internal affairs. They ask me all these personal questions, and we're also still in litigation, so I can't talk about 100%. But they ask me very personal questions, and the only reason I'm even in this situation today is because I told the truth. And it was nothing to do with any policy or anything. It was basically what I had told them. It's just something personal.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm grown.
Life.
Right. And so, again, it had nothing to do with this woman. But maybe from administrative perspective, they're like, oh, well, we got to do something, to appease the supposed victim. And that's the problem with administration, is that they will, just to save face, instead of saying, no, my girl did not do this, and there's no evidence to show otherwise, we're not going to, do anything.
Right.
But instead, public outcry. This person kept on calling the department over and over, like, what are you doing about it? They weren't going to do anything. I mean, I guess they weren't going to do anything. But I ended up getting transferred. It's December 29th of 2023. I got transferred to the Mississippi Delta, which is in Cleveland, Mississippi. And I was told to be up there in like 2 days. It wasn't even, there was no business days. Okay. It was like a Friday I got the letter, and then a Tuesday I had to be up there. Like on January 2nd.
Dang.
I did what I was told. I followed orders. You only have 7 days in our process because it's not an at-will employment with the Mississippi Highway Patrol. And whenever I got up there, you only had 7 days to file a grievance. On the 6th day, I filed a grievance because it made me look like I did something wrong. And then it also took me away from my kids. Mm-hmm. So I have 4 kids. I'm divorced. And I was making $2,400 at the time in a month. Oh,
wow. As a trooper?
Yes.
Is that all they pay?
So,
you must have really liked that damn job.
You have to, taxes, insurance, and retirement. And so after all of that was taken out and everything, I was bringing home $2,400 a month. And so now this commissioner is wanting me to not only pay for my house at home, utilities at home, but then an apartment in the Mississippi Delta, utilities there, and then still have enough money to like go back and forth to see my kids. And so my kids are my number one priority.
Right.
And so anyway, I filed that grievance because I couldn't be away from them. And I also did not do anything wrong. And I'm like, this makes me look like I did. Mm-hmm. So 32 days after I was transferred and 26 days after I filed a grievance, I was then given a due process. Like I say, it goes back to it's not an at-will type of employment. So we have to go through a due process to be, terminated. So I got a due process, a very sham due process on a Friday. And then on Tuesday I was fired.
Wow.
So we appealed that termination. 2 weeks later, you have like 2 weeks to appeal it. And it was, this was retaliatory. This is discrimination. And so we have, right now we have a lawsuit, against the Mississippi Department of Public Safety and for sex discrimination, sexual harassment, and retaliation. And so it's been a 2-year battle. Me.
Is this lady, she just made this up about you? Is this her first rodeo, or did she make anything up about anybody else, or just you?
I could go into detail on that one. That's a whole another story too. But so this is something I have not really discussed too much on any of my social media.
Right.
And because I have a friend of mine, he's like, you don't want to poke the bear and all that.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
But we're here. So
Truth be told.
So after I filed that appeal for the termination, and you remember me talking about the Attorney General's office and all that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So the Attorney General's office came and raided my gun store. There's
really?
Like 10 agents come in with a search warrant. They pat me down and reach in my pocket, which you guys know is against the law.
Right.
Grab my cell phone.
Fourth Amendment violation.
Grab my keys and stuff like that, and they confiscated. And then they also were not allowing me to freely move about my gun store. So once again, another violation. I haven't said anything about it, but they took my phones, my cell phones, my computers. They took everything. They even took 6 $100 bills out of my cash register and kept the 3 $10 bills I had.
For what?
They said, this could be counterfeit. Because that was what the warrant was for, is they said it was for selling counterfeit goods and in trademark infringement. Okay? It's been 2 years. Tell me why you had enough probable cause to come raid my store, but you haven't had enough probable cause to indict me. And you know what? I want my stuff back. So pretty soon, I will be either asking my attorney or doing it myself. I want my computers and my phone, and I want my money back. So that's something I have not really discussed, and I discuss a little bit more in detail, obviously, here on this podcast.
That's crazy.
So I have been through the ringer with all of this, and it's February 13th of this year will be 2 years that I've been terminated.
God bless you, girl. You're strong.
Been dealing with it.
Tough, man. You did. Man, I couldn't have did it.
So you see why people at the beginning were like, "Oh, you horrible person," and you should go. And I've had messages where somebody has said you should rot in hell for what you did, and
wow.
And now
you're gonna get a lot of hate messages on social media.
But that was at the beginning. Now it's like it's flipped. And, I've won the 2 cases. So the woman filed a temporary restraining order on me. She didn't show up for court. She filed an $11 million lawsuit on me. Once again, that was dismissed with prejudice, which means she can't bring it back up for the ones who don't know.
A lot of people don't know about the prejudice or without prejudice.
And then the department offered to settle with me last December, but it did not include my job.
How much?
I haven't told anybody else this either. So they offered $190,000.
Oh, no, y'all can go to hell.
So, but you see, that's actually more than anybody's ever won.
But see, here's the thing.
190's nice, but you still got to pay the attorney.
Here's
I want
what
my job back.
Here's what I always say: if you sue someone and they offer to settle, that's enough right there, because that means that they did something wrong and they know it, and they don't want it to get out in the public.
Right.
So, you're not going to get your job back.
Oh,
did you send that paperwork in, Rob? Did you send that paperwork in?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay, I was wondering because I did mine.
So you said something that it's not a pet. Well, it kind of is a pet peeve of mine. Don't tell me that I'm not going to get my job back.
Oh,
well, I wasn't saying
you
you.
gonna get slapped across the table.
No. I wasn't saying you in particular. I was just saying like in general. Like sometimes if a job wants to settle, especially that much money, I mean that's a lot of money to some people. You know, so I'm just like,
it's a lot of money to me too. I'm not wealthy by any means.
Do you wish you would have took it?
No, absolutely not. Because I even tried to say, I would be willing to do that if I could resign. And this is inside scoop here, and I'm like telling the whole world.
Cut that
but
off.
they said, no, we'll make it look like we parted ways. I was like, oh, so this is how we're doing it. It's ego.
And they still took your cert for that?
Oh, so that's another thing, the certification, right? I have been trying to get my certification, and last January I actually applied with a local PD, and they offered me a position. Now, supposedly my certification is not taken by any means or whatever, but the commissioner has, I think it was, and don't quote me on any of this, I've done a story previously on it, but the commissioner has 30 days or 60 days to sign this little letter basically saying if the certificate is good or not, if it needs to be flagged or not, right? And if it's flagged, it goes in front of a review board. So it hasn't been flagged, but last I checked, again, it's been a while since I checked, he still didn't sign that piece of paper. So basically it's in limbo. Right. And so I emailed the board of minimum standards, and I was like, hey, what's the status of my certificate? And they said, well, it's active. What does that mean?
Don't you have a right to get all your records and all that stuff?
So
if you request it?
I've actually, if anybody is a PD, sheriff's department, whatever, I'm just trying to be a reserve in Mississippi. So, hey,
it's a lot easier that way.
Hashtag or mention your department. But I'm just trying to be a reserve, and I put it on, I am not afraid of the highway patrol.
We need to get her in Oklahoma, Rob.
I put on Facebook that I am looking to be a reserve, and I said, AKA, see if the Mississippi Department of Public Safety will release my certificate. So what I suspect, I'm going to go ahead and tell them what I'm thinking they're going to do, is if somebody does have enough gumption about them to say, you know what, I think what happened to her was wrong, and I'm going to support her, and I want to hire you, I think the Mississippi Department of Public Safety will then flag my certificate and put it in front of a review board. I could be wrong.
So I guess my question is
speculation.
Is that like in the state of Oklahoma, CLEAT is who gives you your license to be police officer. So you can get fired from one department and you may not be rehireable at that department, but they can't flag your license.
They can here.
So in Mississippi, that department can say, we're flagging your stuff. Is it because they sent you to the academy?
Like you need to get out of Mississippi.
Well, all right. So here goes the other issue. I was fired from the Mississippi Department of Public Safety, right? Remember that.
Okay.
The commissioner is over the Mississippi Board of Minimum Standard. It's under DPS.
Okay.
So ultimately, the commissioner runs it all.
Oh, that's
right?
terrible.
So is that every even police department have to go through Okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they hold all their certificates, and now they have a whole board, which is another topic that you guys will be blown away by. But they are able to recall people's certificate from 5-10 years ago, whatever it might be, and put it in front of the board for a review. And I do know that there was a female officer with Jackson Police Department. I don't know her name, but she was fired for policy violation, something like that. And her certificate ended up going in front of the review board for the Board of Minimum Standards, and they ended up taking her certificate away from her for 10 years.
Wow.
So she can't be a cop at all for 10 years?
But after 5 years of you being out of law enforcement, you got to go back through the entire academy.
She's toast.
So what I believe the Board of Minimum Standards is going to end up being is a witch hunt.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow what they say, then they're going to take your only way of, hopefully not your only way of making a living, but they're going to take your ability to be in the career that you want to be in and how to make money. And so, they try to do that with me with the only other type of position I had was my gun store at the time, and they targeted it. And again, all this, it's kind of ironic that the Attorney General's office came and raided my place like 2 days after I filed the appeals of the termination. But again, to cover my ass, I have to say it's I'm speculating, and it's allegedly the reason why they're doing that.
It's a really cool gun store. I've been in there before.
So, we talked about, or one of our topics was going to be, civil rights and law enforcement. And, somebody had mentioned that it's very controversial to talk about this, but how law enforcement is basically politicized, and it has become a political army type situation for whatever is going on in society.
We
right?
worse to each other than we are to people out on the street. And people out on the street don't even know it. They think we just bad, bro. You ain't in here. You don't know what the hell going on. It's worse in here than it'll ever be on the street. So
that is something that I fear will happen with the Board of Minimum Standards, that it will become, and I know I'm kind of like going in the. What
if you went to a different state? Would that?
I can't do that.
I mean, if you could, let's just say you was like, I'm coming to Oklahoma. I'll be like,
I would have to go through like a refresher type class to learn your laws and all of that. And then I would have to go through it again when I go back to Mississippi if I were to be reinstated. And like you were saying earlier, I don't know for sure if I'll ever be reinstated. I really don't. But I can only hope, and I only can fight for it, because I don't only fight for myself now. I fight for everybody.
What do you think
else.
It would be like if you did get reinstated? Do you think it would be a target on your back, or do you think it would be awkward to work around some of the people, and you would definitely be the highlight of the United States law enforcement?
I don't think if I were to be reinstated, I don't think the commissioner would be there anymore, because it's ego. It's ego that got me out. It's ego that won't let me back. Because here this man is, and I've done stories on this. This man has hired a convicted felon. Now, he's been pardoned.
Who is this man?
The commissioner, Sean Tyndall.
Sean Tyndall.
Commissioner Sean Tyndall of the Mississippi Department of Public Safety.
On here, so.
Yep. And he has hired a former convicted felon. And like I said, we've talked before, he has hired a trooper back that was arrested for sexual battery, and he hired him back. And I have yet, not saying it's not out there, but I have yet to find any court documents showing that his case was dismissed. So, and again, I'm not saying that it's not, I'm just assuming. I haven't found the documentation. The only documentation I have found from his court is his initial appearance back in February. So, but anyway, this commissioner hires these two guys, amongst other people that he has hired or allowed to stay that has had egregious type offenses, right? There's one guy that he allowed to stay on administrative leave for a while. I think he finally is.
He hired them as officers?
Yeah.
Or troopers?
Yes. Well, troopers
Convicted felon?
That one it's a like admin job. I don't know.
Can you even do that?
That one is an admin type job with the Capitol Police. I think he does like liaison type work. But still, what I am getting at is that this guy supposedly fired me for policy violations of code of ethics, code of conduct, right? But yet his moral compass is so high for me, but yet I guess he lowers the standards when it comes to somebody that's a prior convicted felon.
Why doesn't he like you? What did you do to him?
That part, I don't know. I really think it was because I filed a grievance,
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this, and
ego.
We can finish up on the next episode, but I hope that you get justice for what happened. Same thing with Hickman. I hope that he get justice for what happened, because it's not right the way I'm
gonna get
here being treated.
That's damn right, I'm gonna get it.
Hearing your story, I didn't know your story, and I'll be honest, I don't go looking people up. I probably should. I don't go checking their pages out. I probably should, but it's interesting to see how much corruption is in law enforcement. Mm-hmm. But it's everywhere. It's not just in Oklahoma. It's everywhere.
Right.
So that's exciting. I'm I'm glad that we had this episode.
Yeah, I enjoyed finally getting it all out there, and hopefully my attorney's
I'm glad
not
you
like,
got to come to Oklahoma, man, and do it.
Yeah, I'm glad you came too. I hope you
we
come
did
back.
the first
We're
one.
gonna have to
We
do
did the
this
first
again.
one in Mississippi because I was a truck driver and I just happened to be going through there. I was like, "Hey, don't you live here?" She's like, "Yeah, I got all my stuff with me. Let's do a podcast." She's like, "Yeah,
You'll definitely have to come back for another episode.
Okay, well, the next one I'll be happy to.
All right.
Awesome.